Plum navigates, steps back, hits it!
I mean, I couldn't wait to come back here Sunday and kind of change the narrative a little bit. I mean, I appreciate you guys so much for continuing to have our back.
Number one, I wish those ladies luck. I want them to get paid as much as possible. I wish them nothing but the best. But let me tell you something. I had Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. I've had some of the greatest players ever, and we went on strike. Listen.
The WNBA is on the edge of something we have never seen before. A civil war. Not between teams, not between players and fans, but between the biggest names in women's basketball and the very union that's supposed to protect them. Kelsey Plum, Breanna Stewart. A secret letter. A leaked bombshell. And a players' association scrambling to contain the damage.
These guys, I remember sitting in those meetings, they're like, no, they're not going to strike. We too important, blah, blah, blah.
Before this season even tips off, the league is already falling apart from the inside. Stay right here, because this story goes deeper than anybody is telling you.
This is an all-time record for a Barclays event for the Liberty, 18,000 people here.
Before we get into the drama, let's make sure we all understand what's actually at stake here. Because this isn't just about a couple players being upset. This is about the future of women's basketball. The WNBA is in the middle of negotiating a new collective bargaining agreement, the CBA. That's the contract that decides everything. How much players get paid, their travel conditions, revenue sharing, medical benefits. This is the deal that could either launch this league into a new era or blow it up entirely.
Now, is a strike still on the table for the players?
I mean, when you look at the vote that we took back in December, we didn't take that lightly at all, and it was almost a unanimous vote.
Both are not ready to be voted on because both need to be negotiated either up or down or in a number of ways.
And here's what makes this moment so critical. The WNBA just came off its biggest season ever. Caitlin Clark arrived. Ratings were through the roof. Attendance records shattered. The league finally had the mainstream spotlight it had been chasing for decades.
My favorite Olympians growing up, definitely Maya Moore, Super, then Tarasco's probably my three favorite. But I mean, you can go down the list and name probably a bunch more. Everybody here is really good, so you can learn from everybody. And I think for myself, obviously, just trying to learn from the people that have done this before. There's a reason they're here. There's a reason they've won gold medals. So just try to soak in their knowledge and follow their lead the best I can.
This was supposed to be the moment where players finally cashed in on all that momentum. Instead, we're sitting here in early 2025 with a league potentially headed for a work stoppage. A secret letter got leaked to the press. The players' union is imploding, and the season hasn't even started yet. How did we get here?
On Thursday, March 5th, as we were recording earlier today, and in which she was able to report that only after signing an NDA were the executive committee members, let alone the rest of the PA, the executive committee members given access to the league's full proposal. So again, to go back to, here is the quiz for everyone. At the same time, they have not seen the proposals yet.
It started with a letter, a 3-page letter written by two of the biggest stars in the game, Kelsey Plum and Breanna Stewart, sent privately to WNBPA Executive Director Terry Carmichael Jackson.
So it's interesting to me that money always complicates things. That's one observation. Number two, I know the NBA DNA. I know their history as it relates to dealing with their athletes in these matters. I'm sure they're making what they think is a fair offer. From what I read, the players will do very well in this next deal, as they should, because it's at the end of the day about interest in them, in their games, in their stories, and they deserve whatever they can get under a system that takes into account the enormous costs.
And in it, they laid out serious concerns about how the Players Association is running these negotiations. They said players weren't being involved enough, that critical decisions were being made without the people whose careers are actually on the line. Now, this letter was supposed to be private, between players and their union leadership, but somehow it got leaked to ESPN, to the press. And once it was out there, the entire WNBA world exploded. Think about that for a second. Breanna Stewart, two-time WNBA champion, two-time Olympic gold medalist, one of the greatest to ever play this game, is out here publicly saying a strike is on the table. That's not nothing. That's a 5-alarm fire.
And as everybody knows, we have approved have the strike authorization vote ready. So that leverage isn't going away. Do we want to do it? No, we don't. But if we have to, we will.
Within 48 hours of that letter dropping, the WNBPA went into full damage control mode. And I need you to pay attention to how they responded, because this is where it gets really interesting. First, they put out an official statement. All the players signed it. We are united. There's nothing wrong here. Then they sent players out to do media interviews. Then the executive director herself sat down with front office sports. All of this within hours of the story breaking. And here's the thing about damage control. When it's this aggressive, this fast, it usually means the damage is real. Did you catch that? The leader of the Players Association is out here saying she doesn't think players are uncomfortable with how negotiations are going. But Kelsey, Plum, and Breanna Stewart just wrote a 3-page letter saying exactly the opposite. So who's telling the truth here? Someone is not being straight with us. And when organizations start spinning this hard, this fast, the league is watching. The owners are watching. And Charles Barkley? He's watching too. And he had something to say about it. Remember that open loop I left you with earlier? About who actually leaked the letter. Here's where it gets wild. 3 separate sources confirmed to reporting that the leak did not come from Kelsey Plum's camp, did not come from Breanna Stewart's camp, did not come from Nafisa Collier's camp either. So if none of the players who wrote the letter leaked it, then who did? Think about this logically. The only people who had access to that letter were people inside the Players Association, which means someone within the WNBPA's own inner circle went to the media to make Kelsey Plum and Breanna Stewart look like troublemakers, like disruptors breaking team unity. Let that sink in. This wasn't transparency. This wasn't whistleblowing. According to sources, this was a political hit job. Someone inside the union used the press to silence 2 of its most powerful members. And that tells you everything you need to know about how messy things have actually gotten behind closed doors. Here's a term that's been thrown around in this story that I want to make sure everyone understands, because it is damning. Push polling. You know what a push poll is? It's when you design a survey not to find out the truth, but to lead people toward the answer you want. It's manipulation dressed up as data. And according to reporting, that is exactly what the WNBPA did with their membership surveys. They asked players if they'd accept 15% of gross revenue, framing it to get no, without even mentioning that the league had already bumped their offer to 70% of net revenue. The most recent, most favorable proposal wasn't even in the survey. They were polling against a number that was already off the table. The result? They came out and said 84% of players opposed the league's offer. But the players weren't even voting on the league's actual offer. That is a propaganda move. And the rank-and-file players, the ones whose livelihoods depend on these negotiations, they're the ones being played. Let's zoom out for a second. Even if they get a deal done, and I hope they do, the WNBA is walking into one of the most competitive sports summers in years. And I don't think enough people are talking about this. This summer, FIFA World Cup, on American soil, games in primetime, in the same cities where WNBA teams play. Millions of soccer fans, including international fans who don't normally tune into American sports, flooding into those markets. That's direct competition for eyeballs, for attendance, for casual sports fans deciding what to watch on a Tuesday night in June. On top of that, the MLB is having arguably its best stretch in years. They've got their own international tournament. You've got F1 gaining American fans every single week. The sports media landscape in 2025 is more crowded than it has ever been. The WNBA had momentum. They had Caitlin Clark. They had Angel Reese. They had a cultural moment. And if there is a work stoppage, even a short one, that momentum does not pause. It dies. Because in today's sports world, the audience moves on immediately. Charles Barkley has been on strike 3 times. As a player in the NBA, he lived through work stoppages. He knows what it costs. And he sat down recently and gave some advice to the WNBA players that I think is actually really important. and surprisingly balanced. You can't overplay your hand. That's from a man who played alongside Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, and still went on strike 3 times and didn't always win. He's not saying don't fight. He's saying be smart about how you fight. And that's the thing. Nobody is arguing that WNBA players don't deserve more. They absolutely do. The gap between what WNBA players earn and what their male counterparts in the NBA earn is genuinely indefensible given the growth the league has seen. But the way you negotiate matters just as much as what you're negotiating for. Right now, the strategy isn't working. The public fighting, the leaked letters, the damage control media blitz, it's not putting pressure on the league. It's giving the league ammunition. Every day this drags on in public. The owners look more patient and the players look more fractured. And fractured doesn't win negotiations. Here's my honest take. And this isn't about picking sides, players or league. It's about what actually has to happen for this to end well for everybody. 1. The WNBPA needs to get its house in order internally before it can effectively negotiate externally. You can't fight the league with one hand if you're fighting each other with the other. Kelsey, Plum, and Breanna Stewart raised legitimate concerns. Those concerns deserve a real response, not a PR statement with everyone's signature at the bottom. 2. The players who want to strike need to be honest with themselves about what a work stoppage actually costs. Not just money, momentum, fan goodwill. The casual fans who just discovered the league through Caitlin Clark. They are not going to wait around for a labor dispute to resolve. They will move on. 3. The league needs to stop being so silent. The WNBA has barely said a word publicly while all of this chaos plays out. That silence might feel strategic, but it's also letting the narrative run wild in ways that hurt the entire sport, not just the union. Because at the end of all of this, the players being hurt most aren't the superstars. Kelsey, Plum, and Breanna Stewart have enough leverage and visibility to survive a work stoppage. But what about the player on a minimum contract? What about the rookie trying to make her mark? What about the veterans in the last years of their careers who just want to play? Here's where I land on all of this. The WNBA is at a crossroads unlike anything we've seen in the history of the league. The money is there. The attention is there. The cultural moment is there. But none of that matters if the people inside the league can't get out of their own way long enough to capture it. The players deserve better pay. They deserve better travel. They deserve revenue sharing that reflects what they actually bring to this sport. But they also deserve leadership from their union that fights for them honestly. Not through push polling, not through political leaks, not through damage control press tours. And the league? Sitting back and watching the Players Association implode might feel like a W right now. But a broken, demoralized players union is not good for anyone's business. Not long term. Not if you want this league to keep growing. So I'm going to keep watching this closely. I'm going to keep bringing you the information, the analysis, and the real talk that you can't always get from mainstream sports media. Because this is the story right now. This is the WNBA moment that history is going to look back on. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the players are overplaying their hand? Or is the union failing them? I genuinely want to know where you stand. Subscribe if you're new. We cover every angle of WNBA that nobody else is touching. And I'll see you in the next one.